Greetings, fellow slinging agents in the wild. Welcome back once again via the virtual eye of destiny as we bring another installment of our homebrew Delta Green scenario, Little Treasures. As I listen back to these episodes in their entirety, I'm amazed at the fluidity of the gameplay. I remember when we were recording these, I'd have to maintain my awareness on the clock to make sure we weren't going to be too short or that we didn't run too long on an episode. And I think more than once the episode ended rather abruptly because we were so into the session that it slipped my mind. All that to say, even on subsequent listens, it's still captivating to me. Remember, check us out over on our YouTube channel at WorldHeart20. Leave me a comment because I love to read those during the intro. This week, little thin, didn't have any, so make sure you get them out to me. Give me some of that love, right? All right. Let's warm up our dice and top off our glass as WorldHeart20 presents Little Treasures, Episode 5.
I always got to pull up my pants. Oh, are we recording?
Yeah, well, I always got to pull down my shirt. Tacky back.
I'm wearing one of my dad's shirts. That's why I look like I'm floating. It's a dark purple. And of course, it has the obligatory cigar hole stain or a cigar burn through in the stomach.
Those are coin slots,
It would
dude.
smoke and the ash would drip off and burn a hole through it. So I was like, oh man, that shirt's no good. Then I kind of looked at it and I was like, I'm keeping it.
I saw the pictures you sent. I miss them. I do.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
always this time of year, man. It always weighs heavy.
Yeah, it does. Been a while, but it doesn't really go away.
No, you just learn to live. We learn to live with these things, which sucks. But
Yeah.
hey, we'll see them
I
on the
never
back
want
end.
it to go away.
Say again, Sammy?
I'd never want it to go away.
Well,
It means you forget.
yeah. No, I'm just talking about the pain. The pain would lessen if over more time. You know what I mean?
Well, you build up a tolerance for it. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's still
like
the
watching
same.
the
You're just
same
tougher.
video. After a while, you need a new video.
I think you're talking about something different, judging by your hand gestures.
Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to WorldHeart20. It is I, your trusted handler, Brian, and with me, my hard slingers of yore.
Yeah.
So last episode, you guys been trucking through the town of Marblehead, investigating certain individuals that may be suspect in these 7 children that have gone missing. Still no bodies found. Nothing to show where they went to, or no ransom calls, no suspects. But Detective Wallace did have a sheet of individuals that he was, I guess, calling suspects, calling into question. You guys had done your best going through town. You guys spoke with Father Thomas Mathers, who was at the Church of Our Lady of Mercy, where Father Jack Miller worked. He was a person of interest. You said that you'd probably swing by his house. You then went to Abby's Little Treasures Daycare and spoke with Abigail Murphy and her assistant, Margaret Anderson. You guys had questioned them about if all the kids had gone there, which they had at different times, though. The handyman, Felix Hammond, raised concerns. Each went to go check him out. The guy took off. Fight ensued. And you found some things that might have incriminated him or leaned the investigation his way. So far, in fact, that Detective Wallace decided to lean into that. He also visited the Stevens and spoke to Jonathan Stevens, which is the father of Maggie, the most recent child abducted. However, the mother was not there. He suggested that she was probably either over at Madame Sullivan's scrying eye, paying her money to try to locate their daughter via whatever ways she used, or slapping around the detective. You then went to the Hauser's house, who believed that their son was almost abducted. They claimed to have prevented something that never occurred from occurring. If you could make some kind of logic out of that circle. After you arrived at the Hausers, they invited you into the house. They spoke to you at length, told you what had happened to their son, Richard, and how he's 3.5 years old now, and how they thwarted what they believed to be an abduction. Odesso, you then showed Conrad this grayish powder that you had recovered at Maggie Stevens' residence. When he saw that, he immediately revoked your permission of being on his premises. And that is currently where we begin.
Are we in the interior of the house?
Yes. You guys are currently inside the house.
Okay. Each puts up his hands in sort of defensive, but also hands are up in front so I can counter if he gets a little froggy on me.
He starts talking in Latin. It's a poor translation. It's not enunciated correctly. Some of the words probably have gibberish meaning, but he's just spouting this Latin off, trying to ward you back.
Mr. Hauser, if
Exitales unis osa lota vida multa.
The way you're acting right now is completely ridiculous and is completely outrageous. We're here to help. We know that things are not as always what they seem, and there's something beyond the veil, something that's trying to get to us. We're the people who stand in that gateway and prevent it from happening, and you are not cooperating. Now, if you want to be left alone and live with the fact that you could have provided some help and could have brought some children home or prevented some children from getting captured, then that's going to be on you. But if you're a decent human being, this is your opportunity to help. This is the bite at the apple. I'm giving it to you. You want us to leave, we will. But it's on your head what happens next, because you can help.
I did prevent an abduction. I prevented...
Selfishly, your own kid. What about the other ones that are still out there getting captured? We need your help.
My son was almost taken 1.5 years ago. Let me tell you something. By you bringing that devil's seasoning into this house, you have now opened up the gate, and now I have to go get sage and cleanse this entire residence again.
Tell me how we can protect other kids. If whatever you're doing is working, I want to know it.
It's all right here. And he runs over to a bookshelf and he grabs the Dungeon Master's Guide, 2nd edition, and hands it towards you. It's all right in here. They knew what they were talking about. This is real. This isn't some fantasy. This is 100%
Is that
factual.
the one with the guy holding the doors open? Or,
yes.
Oh, okay. Yes.
What
The
part are you
actual
talking?
2nd edition, not the one with the giant Efreet.
Now that was the AD&D edition, right?
That was 1st edition. It doesn't count. I'm talking about this one right here now.
All right. I'm not going to discount this, but tell me what particular rituals you're speaking of. The use of sage, white sage, or which sagebrush are you speaking?
Why it got to be white?
Got to be white.
Whoa, where are all the white sages at? Listen, the number one thing that I did was remove all the reflective surfaces from this house.
But they weren't coming in through the reflection. They were outside, and a window is glass, and it's reflective, and you stopped it. How did you do that?
The curtains were drawn. The only reflection they could see was their own reflection, reflecting the outside. They were projecting themselves back out into the outside of the house.
But why did they stop, though? That didn't stop anybody else's kids from getting captured in the same manner.
Maybe they didn't take the same precautions. Maybe they didn't remove the mirrors. Maybe they didn't remove the chrome faucets. Maybe they didn't remove the chrome toenail clippers.
Yeah, but
Maybe
this
they only
is
had
stuff that you
paint
did
polio.
after the fact. Did you do this before the attempt?
Once I started hearing about this, about the children starting to go missing, like I said, this is no secret what's been going on in Marblehead. This has been going on for almost a decade.
How do you know that?
I read.
Well, what have you been reading? Please help us out.
The gazetteers. I know, I see things. I piece things together. That's what I do. I'm a hedge fund investigator. I can see the future.
Well, you've done something no one else has been able to do. You anticipated a problem that happened, and you were able to fend it off. So I'm not going to disparage anything you're saying because you can't argue with success. But what I want to know is how we can duplicate it, how we can stop it. What would be the source, in your opinion, of this particular sort of attack? Where is it coming from? How do we put an end to it? I don't want to just fend them off. I want to stop it.
I don't know where it's coming from. but I know where it's not going. Not in this house. Now, please, I cannot have you in this house with that powder. I can't give whoever's out there trying to get in an access point.
Do you think the powder's the access point or the reflective surfaces are?
I don't know. I don't know. Dorothy! Dorothy! Yes, Conrad? I have a question. And he just leaves you guys in the living room, and he runs into the other room. At this point, you hear your phone begin to vibrate in your pocket.
All right, I'll pick up my phone and look to see who's calling me.
It says H.
Okay, well, I go, Adesso, we have a call to take.
Got it.
And each will open the phone and say, 1 moment, please, till we get to a quiet spot. And we'll go and we'll walk out to the car and I'll put the phone on speaker and we'll take it in the car.
H, do you have Adesso there?
We're both here.
Give the handler just a moment to find that page again.
Well, yeah, Odessa's taking notes, right? So,
dude, you came out the friggin' gates tonight, Adesso.
Yeah, no
good
kidding.
To see you back.
Where you been? What? Gentlemen, those things I was looking into, they panned out. I was doing some digging into Marblehead, and it seems that these 7 children that have gone missing over the past 3 years are not the only ones to disappear from that neck of the woods. About 7 years ago, 4 children had gone missing, not all at the same time. From what I've been able to unearth, it looks like they were each sporadically taken over the course of 18 months. And it looks like this Detective William Preston was the investigator in charge of those cases. When the children started disappearing again 3 years ago, Preston was again assigned to the case. This Detective Preston never solved them. And his personnel file states that shortly after the 5th child was taken, he ran out of leads and became unstable. It looks like his wife left him not long after that, taking their 2 children. He quit the force shortly after. But I do have an address, and it looks like he's living in a trailer northwest of Marblehead, about 25 minutes away from your current position. Now, the second thing I found out was this director of Abby's Little Treasures Daycare, this Abigail Murphy. Seems that when she was 14 years old, she was taken from her home and had remained missing for several months until she was found 3 states over in Warren, Ohio. She was being held by a cult-like group calling themselves Sunset Red, who had taken over a house near the Mahoning River. A raid on that property by local authorities discovered Abigail Murphy along with 8 other girls. She was returned to her parents in Marblehead and hasn't left since. And that was 26 years ago.
Heisenberg, was there a connection to a group in Colorado that operated in the same way?
No, that was the Whisper of Ages, but we had originally believed that Sunset Red was the procurer of that Demonis Familiaris, the thing that was purchased.
And may have been the reason that they sacrificed her on the train in Colorado.
It's possible, but we've never been able to make a connection between Sunset Red and the Whisper of Ages.
Got it.
I'm not saying this is something that leads into that, but it is strange that we've seen this name come up twice.
Yes. And as in our line of work, we don't believe in coincidences.
No. I'm going to text you this former Detective Preston's address. Do what you want with it, but I wouldn't drop it off your radar. Not at least until it's vetted.
Got it. We want to go and talk to Mr. Preston and interview him at his trailer that is 25 miles away.
Is that what you want to do?
Well,
I'd like to say goodbye to the dude, Mr. Hauser. I'd like to tell him
he left, right? Didn't he go upstairs with Dorothy?
He did go upstairs.
You guys went outside.
Yeah, we went outside to
in the
take the
car.
phone call. I want to go back up, stand on the threshold. The door is open. I'm just going to yell through, Mr. Hauser, thank you for your help. We'll be in touch. and then leave.
You're met with silence. He doesn't respond.
That's fine.
I never returned his DM guide either.
Probably working on Little Richard II.
Yeah, well, the plan is, yes, we can go interview the ex-detective William Preston. We also can go talk to the real father, not that stepfather we talked to the other day, the one that's staying with the Fitzgeralds, Jack Miller, which I believe we were talking about going to next. And we still need to talk to the Kathleen Stevens, because she's always at the, Sullivan's Scrying Eye place. Maybe they're both there. We could talk to them. But remember, Wallace had a slap mark in the face, and then what's his name? Jonathan was saying that his wife was slapping cops. So maybe when that cop came over and she slapped him, Detective Wallace, because he was getting a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say forceful, but was starting shit. When we were introduced to him, he had that big red mark on his face. We haven't had time to really catch up either, Adesso, Tony. Mm-hmm. The Wallace guy has given me some red flags. The way that he jumped onto
the homeless, Mr. Hammond. Yeah, he wants a quick wrap-up of this so he can look effective. I mean, Let's consider it. This case drove a previous detective insane. So,
well, and he also was dodgy about getting us info on the previous detective, Preston.
Probably to protect the reputation of the department. If the dude went crazy, lost his wife, lost his mind, moved out to a trailer in the middle of nowhere, it has a tendency to look bad on the department, especially since he left a bunch of open cases and kids disappeared. I mean, this is still unfinished work. So I'm willing to forgive him a little for that. But
three things, and we can forgive him for one. Okay, he doesn't want to give us the name of the person he replaced.
Yeah.
But why is Kathleen Stevens slapping him? And two, why is he wanting to jump onto Felix Hammond as the main thing? To me, that's three things he has going against him. I'm not going to cut him the slack on that. I think that this guy has something to do with either hiding things or something. He's involved with it sometime. That's what Ichi's intuition is saying.
Well, I'm not going to discount Ichi's intuition. So what I would tell you is don't bet against lazy. It's easy for...
I attribute it to malice.
Malice?
Instead of stupidity.
More like...
In this world? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if it was any other world, it would just be, indifferent negligence. We want to wrap this up as quickly as possible. Hammond's a convenient patsy. He's got no alibi. No one would miss him. He fits a reasonable profile, and the evidence can be conformed to match what they want it to. Because
you're going to find
step forward and say anything about him.
You're going to find Hammond hanging in his cell or dead from gunshot wounds because he attacked cops, whether he did that or not.
More than likely.
Oh, we're going to wrap up that case now. Yeah. See?
Yeah, we solved the murders of the children. See, nobody has anything to fear anymore.
I think so. Out of game.
I thought we were out of game.
Yeah, well, out of
further
game.
Out of game.
Yeah. To me, it's probably more pressing to talk to William Preston, because if Wallace is involved, he'd want that guy dead too. Father Jack Miller, he's someone we want to talk to, but I don't think his life would be in threat of us not being able to go talk to him. What is the best thing for us to do to proceed the story right now on a good clip? Do we talk to Preston or do we talk to Miller?
I say we go talk to Preston. Miller's not going anywhere. And I think Preston will be able to give us more leads. He's done this. He's seen it. He may have, especially now that we know what questions to ask. That gray powder seems to be a unifier between all of the disappearances. Possibly Preston's seen it before. The presence of reflective surfaces. I mean, that is something not to be discounted. I mean, Hauser was pretty adamant about it. I mean, notwithstanding maybe he's a little off, but he did do something no one else has done. He did prevent his kid from being captured. So there may be something there. May not necessarily be what he thinks it is, but there's something there. I think Preston's our next best bet. I have a feeling that the priest I just don't think he's involved. He hasn't been involved long enough, and especially if it's been going back 10 years. Well, now we have a much better pool of suspects, because anybody who's shown up or gotten involved in the last 5 is probably not going to be our person. We want someone who's been around a long time. And I'm not seeing that from the priest. From my understanding, he's only been around for the maximum of 5, according to my notes on the subject. So
the first child missing.
yeah. So we're looking for someone who's been around a long time, a much longer time, and has traveled from 2 different directions, 2 different jurisdictions to here. And I'm trying to figure out who that would be. I mean, Preston may have it for us. Maybe he can point to somebody. I mean, because it's not Abigail's. I just think that happens to be the unfortunate situs for the person who's collecting children. That's just easy for them to figure out who they are. Because, oh, look, a bunch of 2-year-old kids. That's what I need. Where do you find 2-year-old kids? At the daycare. Oh, okay. So you move on from there. Who would be around in this jurisdiction and the other? Well, let's go talk to Preston. I think he's a better lead.
Well, how about this? Is the Father Jack Miller at the Fitzgeralds on the way there, handler?
Give me a luck roll.
All right.
Both of us or just him?
No, just one. Because you can't double down.
All right, Sam, you roll it. You're lucky, man.
Roll a 19.
Yeah, see, there we go.
It is on the way.
All right. Well, then we can do both. We can stop by and then kill a priest and a detective with 1 stone.
All right, so who do we see first?
Well, he's on the way.
And we'll go see him first. Gotcha. So it's going to go see the priest.
Yeah.
So you guys make your way through Marblehead to the property of the Fitzgeralds. You see that this beautiful 3-story structure with blue trim and white pillars just adorns this entire block of the city. You see that there's huge bay windows, candelabras all around the house. But the house itself is actually looks dark, looks dormant. And right now it's only about 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Any cars in the driveway?
There are no cars in the driveway, but you do see at the back of the house there appears to be a low structure with a car parked in front of it. It's got one of those vinyl tops. It's silver. Looks like an old, possibly a Pontiac. You see that there's a graveled driveway that does lead its way around the back of the house. And as you start making your way through this driveway, you notice that the garage itself behind the house looks like it's been turned into a residence, a type of a suite.
All right. Yeah, that's the owners are in Florida, and so this is where Father Jack must be hanging out, in Fonzie's garage.
The Cunningham's garage.
Yeah.
Tell me what you agents would like to do.
We'll go up and knock on the door.
Okay. As you approach this single front door of this brown painted garage / dwelling, after a few moments, the door opens and you're greeted by a tall man with thick black hair parted to one side and these deep green eyes. And he looks at the both of you with these hawk-like features and says, "May I help you, gentlemen?"
Yes, we'd like to speak to Father Jack Miller. I understand he's here.
I am Father Miller. May I inquire who the two of you are?
Thank you. I am Special Agent Paulie Udesso, and this is Special Agent Ichi Kimura. We have a couple questions for you.
Make an observation check.
Got it.
Both or just Udesso?
Both.
Okay. Oh. Roll the right dice. 47 under... That's off of our instinct, right?
Yes.
Right on. Under 70.
I got a 9. A 0,
Nice.
9. 9.
Both of you notice that at the mention of FBI, the father took an almost unnoticed involuntary step backwards. He looks at the two of you and says, "Please, come in, agents."
Thank you very much. We stopped by the church and had a nice conversation with Father Mathers. He said that you would be staying here. I hope you don't mind us stopping by unannounced.
No, not at all. Can I get you gentlemen, you agents, something to drink, maybe some water? as he makes his way towards the kitchen,
I'll follow him as well, just so in case there's something he's trying to hide.
and it's not far to go. I mean, you notice that this structure, this dwelling, is like an open studio. You see that right next to the front door, there's a couch, a living room table, a single chair off to the side. You see a kitchenette. And then you see there's a partition that divides the room from one side to the other, probably where the sleeping quarters and whatnot are at. And he walks towards the kitchenette area, and he's like, "Oh, wow, Agent. I'm just getting some water. Is there anything that you would like? Can I get you gentlemen some water or something?"
Oh, what do you have to offer? And I'll walk in just sort of mentioning, like, this is really nice. I like the, if you don't mind the pun, monastic setting you have here. Everything's very curtailed to exactly what you need for the body. And it's open enough to let whatever you need for the spirit to move around freely without having to move too far. Very nice place.
Yeah, the Lord gives me what I need.
That's good to hear. We just got a couple questions for you. As you know, there's been a disappearance of a bunch of young children here. Very tragic. And
Yes.
I also understand that you've been sort of consoling and helping some of the parents. Is that correct?
To the degree that they allow me, I don't like to intrude. I don't prefer to impose on people. Sometimes people need to grieve.
Gotcha. And
I'll
did
drink down my water real fast and say, do you mind if I get a little bit more? I'm very, very thirsty here.
Yeah, you got to watch dehydration here in Marblehead. I mean, it's cold and all, but it's really dry. Here.
Is it just the faucet over here I get a refill?
Yes, that's... We keep it simple here in Marblehead.
Okay. So as I'm doing this, I'll let Adesso keep questioning the father, but I'm going to be sort of relying on him to take all the answers and listen, and I'm just going to be checking out this place to see what's going on. Maybe while he's busy answering questions, he won't be lingering on me too much. Or if he is, I'll see that he's focusing more on me, looking around, and that's going to... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Wow. Father Miller, how long have you been assigned to this particular parish?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. And who held the position before you?
Nobody. They built the church specifically here, and I was assigned.
Okay. And how did the funds come for that?
Through the main archdiocese.
And why did the archdiocese feel a need to build a church here?
We're always looking for servants of the Lord.
Well, of course. Just that Marblehead doesn't seem to be a refuge for Catholics.
I don't consider myself a refugee, not at all. I consider myself more of a warrior of the Lord.
I see.
Joyful warrior?
And try to recruit into our ranks, absolutely.
And where were you before you were assigned to this particular parish?
I lived in a small town northeast of here.
What was the name of that town?
He pauses when you begin a heavy inquiry like that, and he says, Is this going somewhere, agents?
Well, we're just trying to build a background. You've had contact with the families. I just want to know if you've noticed anything. You've been in the community for 3 years during that period of time. We've got 6 different kids gone missing. Now we're up to 8. I'm hoping that you've noticed something, maybe. Pattern. Anything at all.
Yeah, I was from a town in Maine. My name is... You're going to find this out anyways. My real name is Jonathan Glenn. At least it was until 38 months ago. The church thought it was best if they relocate me at the time.
I see. And why did you get relocated?
Because we were starting to lose parishioners at the church I was in charge of up there.
And do you know why?
Yeah, I had become a suspect, and it was something stupid. And I think that the gossip just kind of got out of hand. And
Well, if you could tell us without us having to go through the background, because then it gives a nasty taint to it, like you're concealing information that we're going to find anyway.
Look, there were 2 missing children who were hitchhiking along the coast. Their bodies were found in a field behind the house where I was residing in. And as suspicions began to mount against me, the members of the congregation began to diminish, and before long the pews were empty. And
So the church gave you a new name and moved you to another location, ironically and unfortunately, where children are now going missing.
his brow furrows. Each, what are you doing?
I'm sort of casually walking around the little small place while he's speaking with Adesso. Does he appear to be paying attention to me at all, or is he getting a little nervous and focusing on showing Adesso how innocent he is?
He's very focused on Adesso.
All right. I basically want to do a quick sort of look around. I want to look behind that partition of the bed chamber if I can without him really knowing. I want to see if this guy flushes. Is there the toilet around here, or is it like in the house or something?
As you walk around the partition, you notice that this is the sleeping quarters of this garage suite. You see a bed against the far wall with a nightstand with a lamp on it. There's a book and a highball glass that looks half filled on top of it, as well as a silver bell. Just to the right of that, you see a closed door and a dresser at the foot of the bed.
Does this door look like it leads to like a toilet or something?
Possibly.
Okay. If I can, I'd like to make it over there and kind of peek in there.
Yeah, you open up the
This
door.
is while
and
he's talking, right?
Yeah, he's totally engrossed in the conversation with Adesso.
Okay, yeah, then I'll make use of that time by moving swiftly, efficiently, stealthily if I need to make a roll. Don't make that stealth roll. But I want to kind of move around, like quickly canvassing sort of the area as much as possible without it looking like I'm going through drawers and stuff.
Okay.
So
Are you
I'll
opening
look
up
at the bathroom door, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you open up the door and you see it is the restroom. You see the toilet, sink, stand-up shower, all part of the conversion.
Anything in the trash?
Razor blades, toilet paper roll, simple stuff.
Anything in the bowl? Gross.
Double deuce.
You're reading something, so I guess there is.
I'm just making sure I know everything that I need to know.
Well, do I need to make an observation if there's something in the toilet?
No. I mean, you could see that it's pretty small.
I made it whatever it was, 26 out of 70.
Well, what are you observing? What are you looking at?
Was there anything in the... I asked if there's anything in the trash.
Yeah, there's nothing in there.
Okay, just normal stuff like razor blades and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in the toilet?
No.
Or nothing in the... Okay. Well, then I'll check the rest of the room while I'm there. He makes his bed, it looks like. There's a bell. I don't want to touch that because it'll jingle. What about the dresser? Can I sort of walk over and... You know what I'll do first, too? I'll do a quick check under the bed, just in case there's not someone tied up under there or something.
Okay, yeah. As you get down on the floor and you look under the bed, you see that there's nothing under there. Shoes, simple stuff like that.
Okay.
But your hands, you feel something under your fingers, and you look and you notice that there are these grooves in this polylaminate floor that's been laid throughout this whole room, like scratch marks.
Like someone pushing something without the fucking coasters underneath?
Yeah. And as you look at the lines, you see that they originate from where the dresser is.
Like someone pushed the dresser to it? Or is it like people have moved this dresser back and forth or something?
Probably the latter.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I can be moving stuff around without him hearing.
Now I'd like for you to make an observation check.
Okay.
Just each?
Yes, because he's on the other side of the partition.
Okay.
69 under 70.
As you're in this area looking around on the other side of the partition. You notice the scratch marks and everything. You're looking at the wall. You're looking at everything. And you kind of get the feeling that the interior of this dwelling is smaller than the exterior.
Really?
It looks like it's coming up short on the side where the bedroom's at.
By about how much?
It'd be hard to
Like a
guess.
good amount or just
maybe
inches?
3 feet, maybe 4.
Okay. Well, that definitely sends up some warning signs.
Odesso,
Oh, fuck.
your line of inquiry has got him feeling unusual. But he hasn't inquired where it's really going yet. He's still unable to read you or the direction you're trying to steer this conversation.
Okay. I'll just keep asking him some questions. Do I notice that each is off doing something else?
You guys have worked well together. You guys probably worked together for almost 15 years. And so you noticed that when each left the kitchenette behind Father Miller, you actually moved counterclockwise and brought Miller between you and him, so each could go behind him and be unobserved what he was doing.
I got you.
Job, Odessa.
So I'll keep asking questions. Well, the previous cases aren't really of interest to me. I'm more concerned about what's happening now. So what can you tell me about the first family?
Who was the first family?
First family whose child went missing.
Did
You
they go to
remember,
the
of
church?
course. Yes, they did go to the church.
You sure about that, Odessa?
I'm bluffing him. No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not.
All right.
But I want to see if he
Okay,
remembers.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, out of game. I don't remember who was first, but I know there was
Okay,
seven
I thought you were
families.
like, whoa, shit, man. Okay, because I don't remember
So
either.
I'm just gonna play along, and I'm gonna play on what he thinks he knows, and the point is to get him nervous so he's not thinking about where each is, but he's thinking about what I'm asking him.
Okay.
So yes, in my notes, I do have that they were parishioners. They went missing. Their child went missing shortly after your arrival.
I would need to know the family. I mean, I'm sure that if they went to my church, I would have consoled them had I known. I mean, most of our congregation, they look out for one another. I mean, regardless
Right,
of
so-
what my actual name is. I mean, that was more so I could get placed and retain a form of employment and continue to help people. I've been exonerated of those deaths.
Well,
But
you've been
unfortunately, it hangs on you like a stigmata.
Well, wait a minute. You didn't say that. Tell me more about how you were exonerated. Who exonerated you?
Oh, that would be the police department up there. I
So
had an
there's no
alibi, and
legal-
I was able to prove that I was nowhere around.
So you're saying your alibi checked out. That's not the same thing as an exoneration. Was there a legal filing in the courthouse?
I don't believe there was. But I mean, you got to understand, the field that the house was on that I rented was 5 acres wide. I mean, these teenagers were found on the far back corner. It's nowhere near the residence I lived in.
And how did they die again? You said?
I don't know.
So
I
they
was
were.
just told that they were found by some hunters that were operating between the property lines of the acreage that I was dwelling on and the one behind us.
So no manner of death is known to you. Is that correct?
I don't know. I don't know how long the bodies were back there. All I know is that these bodies were found. I was the one living on the property at the time. They started researching me, and it became known to most of the town, as well as all the congregation at the church. And over time, the rumor mill started up, and it seemed like the individuals that owned the property behind mine, where I was staying, had a great influence on the infrastructure of the town.
And how long were you at that particular church?
2 years.
Okay. And how short? What was the time between the amount when the bodies were found and your arrival? How much time after that?
Do you mean where, from the time I stayed there to the time the bodies were found?
Yes, I'm sorry. It was a clumsy question, but that's what I want to know.
I had probably been there maybe 3 months.
Well, naturally, it sounds like you would be a suspect, only been on the property so long, no one knows you quite yet. All right, so then, of course, the church decided to move you to a new location. Why the name change then?
Because it was starting to get out in the papers up north. The individual who was under suspicion for these deaths, and the name Jonathan Glenn kept coming up and coming up. And in order for me to get placed, every time I tried to go to another church and they heard it was Father Jonathan Glenn, the church didn't want to go forward.
So was that the church, or who? I'm a little confused here. Whose idea was it to change your name?
That was the archdiocese. That was back there in Rome.
All right.
That's
So
where I
you're
did
not
my
here
tenure when I first started.
Got it. All right. Let me refer to my own notes. So, how long have you been out here again?
38 months. 37, 38 months.
37, 38 months. Understood. And has the congregation been increasing since your tenure started?
It's been steadily on the rise. Now, it should be known that I still do frequent the town in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
I still go there back and forth. I fill in as an associate pastor up there as well.
Okay. Did you know the Stevenses?
I have heard of them, yes. I believe, tragically, their little daughter had just was passed away or something like that shortly, a few days ago.
No. They were the parents of 2-year-old Maggie, who's the latest missing child. We don't know that she's dead yet. You said that she'd passed away a few days ago?
Well, it's been, what, I think 4 days now?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
correct.
I
But
think
you said it with such
anything
certainty that she'd
months.
passed away. How do you know that?
Well, aren't the statistics strong in the fact that anybody that's missing within the first 48 hours, if they're not found, they're usually could be presumed dead?
Well, that's all true.
Need to have
but
more
you seem to be
father.
very assured that she was deceased. So what are you relying that information on?
It's just a feeling.
Just as this is going on and he's questioning him, I hear this heating up. I'm pretty sure he's going to start like, I'd like you all to leave. So as this is going on, I will be taking a quarter out of my pocket, putting it behind the dresser. And I'm going to be slowly trying to move the dresser out. The quarter is there for, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I dropped a quarter. I was just going behind the dresser to get it. So not that I need to do this legally, but...
But so as you're grilling this man, and each you're doing what you're doing with this dresser, why don't you make a dexterity check each as you're moving this thing?
Oh, okay. So under 75. 71.
The dresser pulls away, and surprisingly, it doesn't really grind as it's being pulled away, because you notice that it's bolted to part of the wall, and the wall itself actually pivots open.
Oh, shit. Does it make a noise?
No.
Can I get my
And it
quarter?
looks like the grooves that have been worn on the floor have worn it away enough, possibly through repetitious of use, that they're not grinding on the floor anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Taken care of by then.
Yeah. What do I see behind that?
You see that this wall opens onto a small room that's 3 feet by 3 feet. And off to the right, like as you look in, you look to the right, you see that there's a door.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep pushing my luck here, and I'm gonna go in there and, well, I don't want that thing to close on me. I don't. Would that wedging the quarter in somewhere work, or can I leave something in the way that?
You'd have to
grab the
probably
book?
put something in the way. I don't think the
I'm going to
quarter
put the
would
book
work.
that's on the table. I don't think that'll make any noise. by
Okay,
me
so
taking it
you
off.
go over and you grab the book, and as you grab the book, you look at the
Bible.
book, and the title of the book says, "The Witch Cult in Western Europe." That's the title of it.
Oh, hey, the guy likes to read stuff more than the DM's guide. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So you put the book where you think that maybe the wall would contact the other
Yeah.
door. And?
I'm going to proceed to the other door.
Okay. There's a
I'll have
handle
my
on it.
hand. Yeah. I'm things going through my mind. I doubt there's anyone down there ready to ambush me. I'm thinking that I might find a kid. So I want to be prepared to draw a weapon, which would be the jack blade, and hopefully in close quarters I could use it and just put it up against someone and press it. I don't have to worry about swinging it like a real blade. But I want to proceed. I want to keep Adesso. I don't want to. Well, I guess before I do this, I could text Adesso, keep him going. But I think I'm just going to move forward. I'm not going to risk wasting time with that and breaking the momentum he has. So I'm going to go check the door.
Okay, so you send the text to Adesso?
I'm not going to send that text. I don't want to interrupt his thing and give that guy a minute to go, oh yeah, where's that other fucker?
You go to the door. Tell me what you do with the door.
Open it quietly if possible.
It is locked.
Shit. Well, I do have seems like an awful lot I'm doing during this time. I do have lock-picking skills.
Well, hold on a second there, Mr. Lockpicker. As the father is answering your questions, Adesso, he actually pauses for a moment. And he says, he actually looks around. He says, where's your partner at?
We're not concerned about him right now. Why are you so sure that this girl is dead? There's been no information about that. As a matter of fact, the police are still investigating as if she's still alive, yet you seem to have information that contradicts that. Perhaps we should be talking about that.
Are you Mirandizing me, Agent?
No, not yet, because this is
it sounds like you're harassing me at this point. You're asking along a line of inquiry that I may be wanting to have an attorney present for.
Well, at this point, you're not a suspect. I'm just digging for the truth. You want to help me find the truth, right? We want to find this girl, don't we? Don't you?
Well, of course I do.
Well, then
and
why
I'm
do you want to
telling
stop
you
to
that
help?
it would be outside of my purview to go looking for someone who I don't even know where they would be, let alone speculate and then pigeonhole myself into becoming a suspect.
I'm not interested in you becoming a suspect. I'm interested in knowing what you know.
Well, let me ask you something, Agent. If you did this crime against this poor little girl, how would you do it?
Not really sure. Haven't given it much thought.
Neither have I.
Then why are you so certain she's dead? I know the statistics.
Where's your partner at?
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're on something here.
You're
asking me.
I'm in your jerk closet. Under 40. I got to put more points into this. 40 exactly.
The lock disengages.
It seems you have a little more information than we do. Why did you sound so sure that she's dead?
I opened the door.
The statistics prove it. You're an agent. You should know this.
I know, but you're ecclesiastical. You should be giving everybody hope, and the last thing you want to do is let anybody know that you think that they're dead.
I haven't told
that.
How
are you going to pay ever to the kids or to the parents?
Each opens the door and looks in.
As you look into the door, you see stone stairs leading down towards a very dark basement.
Oh, shit.
And that is where we will end this session.
Oh, man. It's like I keep waiting to find something and then go,
oh, you found something.
No. But now it just keeps getting to a cooler and cooler thing. Now you're standing on the...
Got it. I need to go out of game because I've run out of paper to take notes.
Okay. This boy's on
floating
fire
head
tonight, dude. This boy's
floating head just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell nobody's home tonight. He can breathe.
It's like Hitler's got room to breathe.
Oh, jeez.
Damn.
All right. Well, good. We got another lead to follow. I'm trying to add up all the numbers. So 7 years ago, 4 kids went missing over 18 months. And in 3 years, 7 kids have gone missing now, right?
Yes.
With a potential 8th one.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I have 2 entire pads that have been filled with Delta Green notes now. The whole pad.
I'm I want to take a brief moment, and I'm only going to take 30 seconds of this, maybe 45 seconds. But Sam had suggested, do you want to run one of these?
Yeah, I could do that. You guys
I
want
was
me
thinking
to?
you'd have a good military mission Delta
Yeah.
Green.
There'd
we
be a
could,
lot of shooting.
we could record it for an hour, and then we'll just do like a couple of sessions, and we'll knock out another season out of it if you want. If you want to take the reins on one of these, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
You have to come up with a
thought
story.
into it, but yeah, I'm hoping it to be as good as yours.
Well, we could.
Brother, please.
It would open it up to a different handler. You'd come up with some crackpot handler like Heisenberg. No offense. And it could be the same agents. It's just we would see Ichi with whoever's writer's guy would be.
Oh yeah, I'll have to find somebody.
And Deso too.
I've always wanted to do an agent, or I could just do Nakamura.
Yeah.
I want a new one.
I've always wanted to do an agent who was an actor. Like maybe he did a stint in like the National Guard or something. Maybe he was an actor.
Well,
who
National
pretended
Guard,
to be
so he
in
is an
Special
actor.
Forces. Yeah. Damn it. Oh shit. This is our back end blooper. All right, let's get back in game here. Tone, let me know when you got your stuff going on here.
Well, I've got literally 2 full pads of Delta Green information.
That wasn't the question, Kamala. You ready?
Yeah. We must move forward in time to keep going so that we're not staying back in time so that we're not moving.
Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora Radio, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, be sure to leave us that 5-star rating and review. Don't forget about our YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20. So if you're into watching and you want to help support the show, then head on over and hit that subscribe button. It really does help the show out. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted over there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next time, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.